Namaskar friends, we are back with lecture 3 of module 11 of the stress management course, and as I promised, in this lecture we will talk about the coping strategies focusing on emotion regulation. In the earlier two lectures, we talked about the problem focused strategies, and now we will be dealing with the strategies which focus more on regulating our emotions and allowing a constructive and socially approved way to release the pent up negative emotions. So, here is the pre-cap. There will be two main segments of this lecture. The first one talking about what an emotion focused coping strategy is and how it helps in reducing the experience of stress, and the second part will talk about some of the strategies that can be used for this purpose, whereas all others will be listed in lecture 4, which will come in sequence to this particular lecture. So, let us begin with the discussion of the emotion focused coping. Basically, this emotion focused coping focuses on the reducing emotional distress caused by any stressor present in our surroundings. It may be due to some external problem or it may be due to some internal problem. It uses the positive way through which we can release our emotions, or instead of focusing more on the negative ways, which are the defense mechanisms of denial or avoidance. Basically what happens that both the things, defense mechanism is also an emotion focused coping strategy, and here are some more emotion focused coping strategies which provides relief from negative emotions by releasing them in appropriate manner or by transforming them to more positive emotions. So, what we have to do as an individual? We have to take resort on the constructive emotion focused strategies instead of going for the defense mechanisms. Then it aims to regulate the emotion in the face of a stressor. So, whenever we are confronting the stressor head on, we must not be overwhelmed by the negative emotions, because if we get overwhelmed, what will happen? This will reduce our capacity to think. This will reduce our capacity to focus on what is happening in the surroundings, so that we can miss certain important aspect of it. These important aspects can be pivotal in successful solution of the problem, but I simply could not notice them because I was busy with my own emotions which were so high, which consumes most of my cognitive resources, right. So, it differs from problem focused coping strategies which actually ask me to change the situation. What I am doing here? I am trying to change myself by working on my own emotional states. So, here are some techniques that can be used. The first and foremost thing, express your emotions. Okay, you can express it by writing, by talking to someone, or you can engage in some sort of artistic endeavors, like you can make a painting, you can sing a song. And friends, you might have noticed an interesting thing. Whenever you are in good mood, you enjoy the tune, the rhythm of the music, but whenever you are in sad mood, you focus more on lyrics. When you are in good mood, you choose songs which are vibrant, which are joyful, whereas whenever we are in depressed mood, automatically our focus shifts to songs which represents the same kind of emotions. So if this is so, if there is such a strong connection between our emotions and the kind of content we are choosing, can we try it the other way around? Can we try a particular kind of content to change our emotions that we are feeling? You can do that. Just try and see what happens. Similarly, you can paint something, you can draw something to express yourself. This really helps in releasing your emotions in a safe and socially approved manner. Then, engaging in mindful exercises and meditation has been found to be very effective to lower the stress levels by increasing the level of endorphins in our system, which are known as happy hormones. This particular thing has been supported in many researches. One of them is mentioned here, which has been found where the guided imagery or progressive muscle relaxation have been found to be very effective ways to relax the system and have a feeling of calmness. One must spend reasonable time in self-care also. One can participate in activities which can bring relaxation, enjoyment. It could be reading a favorite novel or spending some times doing gardening or with the pet or doing light exercise. Anything can be done, and such kind of enjoyable activities must be intentionally incorporated into the daily routine in the face of a stress. Social support is again and again a big thing. Try to spend time with those who really know you, who understand you, and whom you can rely upon. This really gives you enormous support. Even if they can't do anything to improve the situation for you, and they simply lend their ears to you, they simply listen to you, they give time, and they simply give a gesture that okay, I understand what is happening with you, what is happening in your life, or I really appreciate the kind of effort that you are making to deal with all kind of stresses around you. This is a big kind of motivation for the person who is amid such a stressful situation. Engaging in emotion regulation strategies like deep breathing, visualization of outcomes in advance, or exercising to manage emotions effectively are of really use. Then self-compassion and self-kindness must be nurtured. Friends, we will come back to this point, self-compassion and self-kindness, in module 12 again as a part of the life skill strategies. Cognitive reframing also helps. So, whenever we are in stressful situations, we can simply think of transforming more difficult circumstances into optimistic or controllable circumstances. Okay. So, if I have to cover so much of the syllabus before examination and I keep on thinking that okay, still 10 chapters are to be read, still 10 chapters are to be prepared, a lot of work is pending. What if I think I have prepared 4 chapters? I can also prepare 2 more chapters in this week. So, thinking in terms of what I have done and what I am capable of doing is more effective in managing my emotions as compared to if I think continuously in terms of what I cannot do or what is pending. Similarly, trying to confront one's pessimistic approach by logical reasoning is again very important. If I think things will not go right in future, try to ask yourself, why do you think so? What is the reason behind such thinking? What is the logic or point behind continuously predicting negative consequences for future? Try to argument with yourself, try to challenge your illogical false beliefs that push you towards pessimism and hopelessness. This is the basic technique of cognitive behavior therapy that we can discuss at some other opportune time. Then relaxation technique, any kind of relaxation technique, whatever you find suitable for yourself, may it be progressive muscle relaxation or visualization or guided imagery or yoga or tai chi or anything like that will help you a lot. Humor is a very important factor that most of us lack in our life. See what happens, that if I try to remove something from my cognitive or behavioral repertoire, a void will be created there, an empty space will be created there. And you know, we can't live with empty spaces. Definitely something will come and fill that space. That something which comes and fills that space can be appropriate, it can be inappropriate. So, it is better to not only think about removing the illogical or self defeating thoughts, but also to think about substituting those thoughts with more appropriate ones. This is what we have been doing for cognitive restructuring or for reappraisal of the situation. So, what we have to do here is, if the same thing is to be done with the emotions also. So, if I am feeling very depressed, very hopeless, very distressed, I can think substituting my negative emotions with humor, with healthy humor. Yeah, okay. So, I guess in last module also we talked about these things, and we find that if I am feeling low, I can read something funny. I can watch a movie which is very humorous, funny movies, light-hearted books can be written, or in a very tensed environment of the boardroom or at home, if the environment is very tensed and someone simply cracks a joke over there, immediately it reduces the distress which have been felt by everybody and increases humor in the mind of people. So, humor in itself is a very effective thing that one can engage in. Then comes spirituality, that is connecting oneself with the larger universe, connecting oneself with the supreme power, no matter in which form, in which name we identify with that spiritual power. But of course, if I try to connect myself with that power, it can give me a lot of relief. So what happens, that the prayers that we offer, the meditation that we do, or simply the communication that we establish with the mother nature, everything has a capacity to enhance my positive vibes and to reduce the feeling of distress. Leisure time activities have a special role in emotion regulation because they can quickly bring in happiness. Sometimes we say that okay, shopping is a stress buster, or this particular activity is very soothing for me, it can do wonders and it is very relaxing. Some people used to play with soft balls, they used to crush it and they used to crunch it multiple times and they find it very relaxing. So, any kind of activity that can bring relaxation to my system can be adopted according to my own choice, according to my own convenience and according to the availability of the material or resources. So, these were the techniques we can bank on. There are some more. I will talk about them in the next segment, but for now let us have a recap of what we have learned. We have learned that emotion focused coping is a technique of managing stress by focusing on reducing the emotional distress experienced by the individual rather than changing the environment. Similarly, we talked about a number of emotion focused coping strategies like emotional expression, then mindfulness, meditation, self care, social support, emotion regulation, that is by enhancing one's emotional intelligence, right. The cognitive reframing or restructuring of the situation, then relaxation techniques can be utilized. Inducing humor into the situation can give a lot of relief to us. Then spirituality and leisure activities are also important. So, taken together, such activities can support individuals in processing and reducing challenging emotions successfully. That was all for this particular segment. These are the references to enhance your understanding of the topic. A few more. Thank you very much for your patient listening.